Sometimes, to build anew, you must first sever. Wraith of shadow and blood, sent to destroy. Let the healing begin.
Sever fans, rejoice. For the third season in a row, Sever is climbing higher and higher. Now, I know it might not seem that way, because last season, your boy cleared Pit 121. This season, we're looking at Pit 98. And of course, the monster under my bed today cleared 100. Congratulations to the Necro Ladder King, the leaderboard, Don, Raniel. I knew Sever could do 100. I knew that I had work to do to get there last night. I had a birthday party today with my kids, and I told my wife, what's going to happen is I'm going to go to that birthday party, and while I'm there, Randy's going to post 100 clear. And that's exactly what happened. But that's neither here nor there, because it doesn't matter. We're not done. We're nowhere near done. 98 was just a little something to show you what kind of power we really have going on here. And it's got a little bit of attention, and I do appreciate that. A lot of you guys have reached out on YouTube, on Reddit, Discord. I appreciate the support. But let's get into it. I got a big old helping, a heaping portion of grief for you today. Of course, you're here for the build guide. You've come to see it. And you're hoping that you're about to be handed a plate of something nice. But no. You're about to be handed a plate of what looks like an old corn on the cob that somebody forgot about. Well, guess what? We're about to throw that shit in the lava over there and make some popcorn. We're going to get down and dirty with this build. We're going to get into it. We're going to talk about what makes it tick. We're going to talk about all the things that the other guys aren't going to tell you. I'm just kidding. They would tell you if they could. Before we get into the build, a quick disclaimer. First things first. I almost did not play this season. I was a little bit sick of chasing overpower. I was kind of sick of Sever, I'm not going to lie to you. But it's mainly because of the chasing overpower and the way Ahu Zan was working for the past 2 seasons. Changes to Season 8 to Ahu kind of really help this build out and make you kind of have to approach things a little bit differently. I think in the long run, this works out to be a big net positive for us. We just need to do some more work around it and figure out better ways to make this happen. In the meantime, we are where we are. Second thing I want to say is anyone who is here thinking that they're going to plug a Paragon in, they're going to put a skill tree together based off of this video and just jump out there and you're getting it on, it's not happening. I've said this before on my videos. I want to make sure you understand this is something you will have to work at. Now, if you don't do it this season, this build will work next season. There will be some changes, obviously. The boss powers and stuff like that will change out to the season mechanic for next season. But overall, this build will function the same. It will play the same. The loop won't get crazy complicated. It's a fun, fast build to play. It is worth the investment. And the last thing that I do want to say is in my videos in the past, I realize that sometimes I say things that to me make perfect sense, but to a person who is new to the game might be like I'm speaking another language. So I think the best thing to do, and what I plan on doing going forward in all of my videos, is to try to explain it in terms that some of you may watch and go, this dude doesn't know what the hell he's doing. I'm trying to explain it in terms that make sense to everybody. For those of you who know a little more than anyone else, that's fine. Obviously, you know what I'm trying to say. And for those of you who aren't familiar with all the mechanics and jargon that goes along with it, you guys aren't spreadsheeters. You guys aren't in the training room 24/7. Of course, I want it to make sense to you too. So, with that being said, let's get into the build. Let's take a look first at the gear. This season, I didn't want to go too crazy trying to get GAs on my mythics because the season is short and gearing this season is a little bit miserable in my opinion. There are some bottlenecks, Forgotten Souls mainly, just kind of make it terrible in my opinion. So here we have the Heir of Perdition. You're going to want this helm. We are messing with some ideas within the Cursed Cult Discord talking about possibly Crown of Lucian and some other things I might play with before the season ends, but those might be things that we try next season. For now, you're going to want to run the Heir of Perdition. If you don't have the Heir of Perdition, I think Godslayer Crown is okay. A helm with similar whatever you can grab. Intelligence, obviously, you're going to want to get, but Heir of Perdition, if you're trying to pit push, is a must. You're going to need it. You're going to have it. The GA I have is on core skills. I would like to have a multi-GA with at least core skills and crit strike chance, but without that, core skills is fine. Obviously, if you get a 4 GA, you're winning at life. You're doing great at everything. You probably have a beautiful girlfriend and a really nice swimming pool. Shroud of Falstaff is next. Pretty much best in slot for any build in the game. I don't know very many that don't run it. Of course, something like Golem probably might not run it. They might run something with Golem Mastery, so on and so forth, things like that. But other than that, most builds are running this. In the past, if I got a GA on damage on next attack after entering stealth, I'd be like, who cares? But actually this season, it is helpful because of the Belial mod, which we'll talk about. It's not huge, but it is an additive and it is decent damage that you're just getting for nothing, right? I would have liked to see all stats. I would obviously like to see resource generation. Again, this is one of those things where if you get a 4 GA, a 3 GA, you're having a great time. Bare minimum on this, you're going to want that max life. You're going to want to triple crit that. And I'm sorry I forgot to mention here because I'm a shitty content creator. You're going to want to triple crit core skills on your Heir of Perdition. I'm still working on mine. For the gloves, we have also messed around with Fist of Fate, but for now we are running legendary gloves with the Damned aspect on them. I have a 2 GA, Intelligence, and Sever. If you can figure out your attack speed in other ways, max life would be great here, but I could get a 2 GA because I'm poor, and Intelligence and Sever are great. Lucky enough to triple crit Sever on this, so we're all set on the gloves. On the tempering, you're going to want to run Damage While Fortified and Corpse Tendril Size. Now, very important here, if you are not pit pushing to the fullest extent, if you are just trying to play a strong build, a fun build, and you want to get it on, you don't have to do Damage While Fortified. I'll explain why. Damage While Fortified is a 1 in 4 chance that you get something you can't use at all. You could end up with blood, and this. And you want blood, no. Okay? If you go into crit strike damage, If you miss, you're still going to get another type of damage that will benefit your build. It won't be the most ideal. It might not be what exactly you want, but at least it's doing something so you're not fully bricking your gear. So that might be my advice to you, to run crit strike damage instead of damage well fortified. If you're like me and you're an absolute maniac, damage well fortified. Next, we'll talk about the pants. 2 GA on these, I think, is a must. You want that max life, you want that intelligence, so let's get those. And my advice would be to triple crit max life. That's currently what I'm working on before I go in for my try on the 100 or 101. Your tempering here is going to be total armor, and your corpse tendril size, this is where you're going to basically get 100 between these two. Now, on the armor, if you have another way to get that armor, or you think you can go in without full armor, go ahead. I use incense and elixirs to get to where I need on some breakpoints and some caps. So in my case, I'm going to run armor on it, and I'm going to run total armor. Topaz, obviously, in all of the armor. And of course, I forgot to mention the rune words in our Era of Perdition. Igni Cax. That's going to give you some damage that's going to pop off a lot more than you think it will. You're going to be happy with it. Slap that in there and have a good time. You could also run Igni Zal if you so desire. On the boots, you're kind of stuck running Greaves of the Empty Tomb. It's not like Season 6 where you could run some legendary boots and you could just go with the chance to deal double damage on your weapon and go a little bit under cap. But unfortunately, we cannot leave behind Finality or Titan's Fall, which we'll talk about in just a moment. You're going to need these boots, and you're going to want a 2 GA minimum Sever size and chance to deal double damage. And then here, as you can see, you're going to hit the double damage twice. That's going to give you a 108 and then 97.7 on the size if you hit that once. I wouldn't worry too much about the aspect on this because it's not doing a huge amount of your damage. Obviously, more is better. So if you get max aspect, good for you. But if you don't fret over it. Run what you got. On your weapon, here, like I said, you have some choices. Of course, you're running Reaping Lotus for the 400% multiplier on Sever, but you have a choice on your tempering between Titan's Fall and Finality. Now, Ranny, who I mentioned before, who's cleared 100 on Sever, and his build is quite similar to this, he runs Finality. Now, I'll tell you why I run Titan's Fall toward the end of the video, and I do want to try Finality, but I think right now Titan's Fall is what I would prefer because of the way that I play the pit, and like I said, I'll explain that soon. And again, another downfall here is this is a hard weapon to get your hands on. I've only had 2 of them all season. 1 dropped from a cache. Keep your eyes on those caches for maces like this. You want a GA on intelligence, you want a GA on max life, but if you can't get that, settle for what you can get as close to this as you can. You're still going to have fun. It's still going to slap. Unfortunately for us, Bloodwave once again and some other builds are using a similar setup. We're being attacked! What the hell's wrong with you guys? Holy shit. We're just sitting by the tent, trying to have fun with our friends, camping out by the lava, warming up for a little while. I apologize, guys. Let's get back to it. Sheesh. All right, so again, here you're going to want Lucky Hit, chance to restore primary resource, and you're going to need this coupled with the high Lucky Hit chance that we have. We will not really worry about our essence generation. It should be there all the time. And then when it's not, guess what? You've got Soul Rift. So, Ahu Zan. You already know it. It's the 3rd season in a row I've been running this. I brought it out in Season 6. The idea cemented by my boy Rainbow. Shout out to Rainbow. I was running it and I didn't know what I was doing. And I watched his video and said, oh my God, I'm playing it all wrong. Ahu Zan is the truth. That was Season 6. This is Season 8. We're still going strong. Merciless Extinction. Now, the difference here is we don't have to get them to injured, 30% health. You need to get them non-healthy, so basically 25% of their power gone, and you start slapping. And I said I would mention why Titan's Fall is great, because you kill elites faster. The little minions live, and they're worth a lot. They follow you to the next pack of elites. You start hitting them, they have barely any health, and they just start dying. Ahu Zan starts slapping immediately. Now it doesn't matter if the champions are there with the damage resist auras. Nothing matters, because once Ahu Zan starts slapping those big hits, everybody's dead. Just remember that. That was our motto in Season 6 and 7. When something starts dying, everything's dying. Now, when something doesn't feel good, everybody's dead. And before we stop talking about the weapon, I'd like to mention the implicit. Now, this is the stat that you see up top just under the damage per second where it's saying 392% overpower damage. When we're talking about implicit, that's what we're talking about. So the implicit stat on your maces is an overpower damage additive. Now, it's worth mentioning, you could run a two-handed sword, you could run a two-handed axe, you could run a scythe if you wanted to, a two-handed scythe. That implicit should not make the decision for you. If you have a 2 GA scythe with these GAs, go with it. It's worth it. It's better than having a mace with one. That additive is something where if you have it, great, it's nice to have, but it doesn't mean that you're not going to be good. It doesn't mean that you're not going to be strong. You may not even notice a difference. For someone like me, it might be, if you saw my 98 clear, I killed that boss with 0 seconds remaining. If I didn't have that implicit little bit of extra additive damage, I might not have gotten that. So that's kind of an example for you, and that's why I run it, but you don't have to. A two-handed sword might be great here. On the amulet, you can go one of two ways. Amulets are like the mace this season. It is hard to get. I ran BLT for a little while, the Banished Lord's Talisman. For those of you who don't know what that means, I'm sorry, I'm trying my best. For the Banished Lord's Talisman, those are easy to find. It's going to help your build. It's going to give you some overpower hits before your Ahu kicks in and actually help kickstart the Ahu, which is really great. The Banished Lord's Talisman is good. It just won't push much above Pit 90, and we're trying to get closer to 100, so we switched off to this somewhere around 93, I believe. You're going to run Sacrificial Aspect on there. You're going to go for Coalesce Blood, GA Amplified Damage, GA Intelligence. You want your tempers to be, again, Damage While Fortified or crit if you went that route, and Ultimate Cooldown Reduction. Now, on this amulet, one of the things that you get from this is stacking on Amplified Damage that you need to consider. Amplified Damage stacks with Fear and Curses now, so that's a lot of damage between the two, and it's helping you fly through the pits faster, get to the boss faster, and we're all about more time on the boss. Let's look at the rings. Ring number 1 is Grasping Veins. You're going to want to at least double crit attack speed on this, is the route that I went, and a single crit on intelligence. If you have your crit strike chance handled, say you're running Blood Moon Breaches, for instance, you can basically go with max life here if you wanted to. Of course, on the tempers, again, damage while fortified, and get your cooldown reduction. Again, you need that soul rift to be ready at those boss fights as soon as you can pop it. Our corpse tendrils are going to be pulling in enemies, and basically because we're not running Flesh Eater, which we'll get to the Paragon, we no longer need to worry about popping those corpse explosions. So basically, every time I pop my tendrils to pull, I hit a quick corpse explosion. So for me, that's trigger, and I got my Fueled by Death going for 6 seconds, and I don't have to worry about it again for another 6 seconds, and it's one time, not 5 times. With the change to Scent of Death, we no longer need Flesh Eater, and like I said, we'll go over that on the Paragon. Ring of Starless Skies, I think, is absolutely necessary. You've got that big old attack speed GA. If you can get a double GA with core skills as well, that's great. Again, all of the gear that we're using as far as mythics go, everything on it is great. So if you get multi-GA, you're having a wonderful time. I'm proud of you. I went with 2 on core skills for the masterworking and 1 crit on attack speed to meet my cap with my elixir. So that's it for the gear. Now we can start looking at the boss powers. For this season, I am running Lord Zur's Blood Pool. You want to know why? Because it looks cool. That's it. Only later did I find out it has 100% lucky hit chance. Is that true? I think so. For our mods, we're going with Belial's Eye Beams for obvious reasons. Activating the main boss power grants stealth for 2 seconds. Would lightning be better here for the main? Possibly. It possibly may. I've played it. They seem kind of the same to me. To be honest with you, I feel like Zur's is better, but a lot of people argue with me about it, so do what you like here. You just won't be Severed Veins, you little shitter. Just kidding, you still are at heart. Cineratt's Flames for one of the other modifiers, and here we are getting a 25% multiplicative damage on the element, and we are getting a 5% to all, so 30% overall. And if you look at your stats and you look at your resistance and you go down to your shadow, you see this number. God damn it, you can't even go over it with the mouse. You see that number there, the 192 shadow resistance from bonuses? That's the number they're talking about. So when we're talking about what the power does, the modifier, it gives you 0.2 for every one. So if you do the math there, you're hitting that 25%, you've got it, and you're getting basically a 30% damage multiplier to your shadow damage. And since the majority of your damage is shadow damage, this is a free 30% multiplier. Harbinger of Hatred's Volley. Casting a skill at maximum resource, blah, 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 blah. I don't really do it. I do it kind of when I'm not trying, but it's nice. Don't really need it on this build, but hey, it's there. Activating your main boss power grants 30%. Again, if they're vulnerable, they're taking 30% multiplicative damage for 5 seconds. We can keep that going all night long. So that's it for the boss powers. I think there's some great synergy here. I'm really happy with these choices. I like running it this way. Like I said, plug in lightning if you so desire. For our sacrifices, we are going for the Reaper sacrifice for the 37% with our sacrificial increased shadow damage. I think Memento Mori is factored in there as well. I'm not sure. Overpower damage, 55. We're sacrificing Bone Mages, and we are sacrificing the Iron Golem for a 60% multiplicative on our crit strike damage. Now we can look at the skill tree, and before we do so, we're going to take off our shirts. You're sick. This isn't a damn OnlyFans. Put your money away. Actually, no. Give me the money. I'll take the money. I'll take my shirt off. Just give me some money. So we'll look at the skill tree with the shroud off so you can see where the points actually go. On your basic skill, I see a lot of people sometimes don't think that it matters. They'll throw in Decompose because it's a darkness skill for Reaper's Pursuit and just go with it. As a matter of fact, I saw a conversation on YouTube and some comments where someone was saying that Reap wasn't that important and they just were hitting it accidentally. The fact of the matter is, it's very important for Sever. If you're running Sever and some other builds as well, and you throw that Reap in when the enemies, some of your trash is down to a very low level of health, they're going to die within 2 seconds, throw that in, hit them with it, especially great on bosses. Now your Ahu will proc so much faster, getting you those big Zan hits quicker and more efficiently. We can move down into the core skill section. We'll go first with Hewed Flesh. I have 2 points in there. We'll get 3 when it's all said and done with our Shroud. I'm not going to mention that for every skill. Just remember, every passive gets 1 extra into it from the Shroud. Imperfectly Balanced, we've got 3 points here. Blight, we only have 1 point in. The rest of this is from gear, as you can see from the item contribution there. Enhanced Blight, Supernatural Blight. You're going to want to throw that pool down to get this 20% multiplicative on the groups that you're fighting. On Sever, we are putting 5 points into Sever. The rest of it is coming out of our... I have 4 points into Sever right now. This is just how bad I am at the game. I took a point out of Sever a long time ago for something, and I was like, I'll just put it back. I never did. I just realized that. Go back and rewind and see. So I've been running all of this 1 point short on Sever, so that's great. So anyhow, that's good for me. This will make things a little easier going forward. You're going to want to put all 5 points into Sever, and then you are going with Enhanced Sever, and then, like I mentioned before, Paranormal Sever, so you can get the Fear and the Vulnerable to stack for your amplified damage that you might be building into if you're running a Legendary Amulet. Moving on, we are running Corpse Explosion for a quick Fueled by Death Blast, obviously 3 points into Fueled by Death. Corpse Explosion, 1 point, Enhanced, and Blighted. Another Darkness skill on the bar. That makes 4 right there, 5 when you count Soul Rift. We are running full into Titan's Fall, put 3 points in there. So far, I don't have it maxed, so I only have 13 into it. Soon it will be more. Actually, it's 14 with the Shroud. I said I wouldn't do that, but I was questioning myself here again, like the Sever. And amplified damage, you're running at full blast. We've got 3 into there. We've got 1 here, and 1 into Abhorrent Decrepify to get us those faster cooldowns. For our Corpse Tendrils, we're running 1 point in, and we are going up to Blighted so we can get Blood Orbs to fuel our Blood Begets Blood for the multiplier there. 3 points in Necrotic Carapace. This helps keep us fortified. We've got 3 into Reaper's Pursuit, 3 into Gloom, and 3 into Terror. I actually threw 1 into Crippling Darkness just for a little more stun. You could throw that down here if you need a little more crit when you're healthy. Whatever you think is great. Finality, again, mention of this, possibly worth running instead of Titan's Fall. Some people like it. We are running Memento Mori, 3 points there, and this is giving you more bonus on your sacrifices for your mages and your warriors, and then standalone gives you some more damage reduction. Now here on Soul Rift, I'm running 5 points, and the reason is it's not for the damage, it's not for all of these other things going on. It is mainly for, let me take a point out, it is for that cooldown. The top number there, 32.51. I put this point back in, it's 31 seconds. So if you only put 1 point into this, you're looking at a 37-second cooldown on that, which obviously you can reduce, but 31 seconds, and then we've got our Abhorrent on top of that. And then for your key passive, yet again, Rathma's Vigor, because we were doing blood skills before Xur came along with our Sever. Throwing in Rathma's Vigor is not going to do much for you on the top part of it, but it is going to give you that 120% increased overpowered damage, which is huge. So we're running that. To the Paragon board, very quickly, I will just go over with you guys. This is the starter board. That's the layout. We are running Gravekeeper there, just getting enough for the bonus on that. We are running Dominate on Frailty. For those of you on Mobalytics Guide, this is the difference. I believe it's right here. They have another willpower somewhere around here where it doesn't belong. You're just going straight up right here. You're not going around like the guide shows. You don't have to. The guide there, their Paragon board is wrong. Okay? You're going to get the most bang for your buck on Frailty with Dominate, so you're going to get 79, and that's going to give you some big old overpower damage buff. Frailty is actually, if you look at that legendary node, Frailty's great. Look at that. Look at that. Frailty's great. Next, you're looking at Blood Begets Blood. We are running Eliminator on it. I'm not fully invested right now, so you can see I got 110 on the intelligence from that. That's nice to have, and you got your Blood Orbs. That's a 50% still, yes. Next, Bloodbath, and you are running basically like I have here, and you are running Essence. This is the best board for Essence. You can get 74. So with this and our Overpower board up there, getting 79, 74 here. They're both the best boards for those glyphs, and we are running them at full blast. And this change here, thanks to my homeboy Ranny for this reminder. When I looked at his board, why is he running Son of Death? I was running Flesh Eater, and I'm looking at his board, and I hovered over the legendary node, and I remembered this was changed. Why wouldn't you do this? In my opinion, this is much better than Flesh Eater because you don't have to keep, even though they changed it, you don't have to keep eating those corpses to get the buff, and you get the 15% damage reduction. So yes, it is 10% less multiplicative, but it's always on. You're never going to forget it. You're never going to miss it. Now, worth mentioning, I did try running Flesh Eater in place of Blood Begets Blood. It's not as good. I thought maybe we can get rid of the orbs altogether, but the orbs actually help in more ways than just the damage for Blood Begets Blood. The orbs actually keep you alive a lot of the time, I think, and I missed them when they were gone, so I plugged this back in this way. So that's the Paragon. For your Mercenaries, we are running it the same as we've been since the Mercenaries became a thing. All the way down the side here, having a great time with our boy Subo. We love him. And where Alkin comes into play, when you are running any skill in combat, he is running Flame Surge. That is helping proc your Decrepify so you can get your cooldowns faster. Aureus the God gave me that idea, and I've been running it ever since. It works out very well. Surprised we haven't been attacked over here in our little camp. I'm very happy about it. That just looked like it was coming out of my butt. So now I wanted to kind of go over how to play this thing in the pit to give some of you guys an idea of what I mean about the changes with Titan's Fall and how that works with the minions, the lower level guys that are not quite elites, but they're not quite trash, and how to kill the elites quickly and then bring the minions on to the next group. So probably see here how I'm about to do that. I'm going to kill some of these minions and then I'm going to drag the rest of them up here to this group of elites. Try to bring the two groups together. Because what's going to happen is when that big boys come down from there and you've got these hurt guys down here, you can see Ahuzan already going off. It's going to continue going off. It's not going to stop. These guys are taking huge damage as soon as they get into the fight. Without those minions there, that doesn't happen. And if you're not running Titan's Fall, you may kill those guys. Now, you could bring an elite along. I guess that would work too. I just like doing it this way. I use them to lure to the next pack. And as long as you keep doing that, you can run through a pit pretty quickly. My problem is sometimes I just mess up the pulls. I'm trying to get better at it. You think I'd be great at it by now. I've been doing it for 3 seasons now, but unfortunately sometimes I just mess it up. And also too, worth mentioning, much like Ranny's 100 clear that he posted, this isn't a fish. This isn't the best run for me. This isn't the best floor. These aren't the best enemies. This is just a run that I did that I cleared. And I like posting those more when I hit top end of a build. That's when you'll see me fishing. You'll see a lot of desert, maybe some spiders, some wolves, stuff like that, to try to get to the boss quicker. And of course, goes without saying, just like the last 2 seasons, if you've been following this build, playing this build, we need ads on the boss fight. If they're not there, you're just not going to be able to kill that boss in time, even with the change to Ahu. If you're up in those higher tiers, it's not happening. You're not going to do the damage quick enough. If you do, I want to shake your hand. That probably will never happen, but we can pretend. Okay. Your best bosses for this are going to be Sea Hag, Frosty Boy, Malice is okay, and Scourge. If you pull anything but those bosses, sometimes I just exit because I'm just going to waste my time and hurt my thumbs. I play controller. It's hell to just sit there fighting a boss for 10 minutes and lose. And you're not getting the XP, you're not getting glyphs, you're not getting anything. So I will leave. Now, I'm not the type of pit pusher who leaves just because I get into a pit and it's a shitty layout. I'm still going to run it. I'm still going to take the XP. And really, that's why, like myself, last season, I didn't get near 300 because you're not getting that big XP at the end because you're not clearing because you're pushing all the time. So keep that in mind. If you're pit pushing, you get carried away sometimes and you lose out on a lot of XP and levels and Paragon points because you're not clearing these pits until you clear them. So my advice would be every once in a while, break down, go down to a lower level and start getting yourself some XP. If you just stay at that thing all day long, have to go over and over and over. First of all, you're going to go crazy. You should probably touch some grass. Second of all, you're going to lose out on XP. So that's all I have. I wish I had more. It's a short season and it is what it is. I didn't jump in till late. I was playing a bunch of different stuff, trying to just... I didn't like what they did to the boss powers. I thought they were really cool before. Yeah, they were overpowered, but they're boss powers. Not really strong guy powers, boss powers. So it is what it is, like I said. But I do want to say one thing. I have gotten so much support this season from you guys, so much motivation. I wanted to make this guide because I wasn't going to make one for you guys because of the love that you've shown me, and I really do appreciate it. As those of you who know, that have been with me from the start of this channel, I don't promote it really like going out and doing share for share, follow for follow, all this weird shit people do. I just post videos, and if people like them, they come here and they subscribe, and that's how most of you found yourselves here. I appreciate you for being here, and I hope you appreciate the builds. If you ever have any questions on anything I'm doing or anything off meta in general, that's my specialty. That's what I love to do. Please reach out in the comments. I'm happy to answer any questions anyone has about anything, including if you're a young man coming into the world and you want to know about life in general. I will help you. Maybe. That's all from me. I hope you enjoyed the video. I put a lot of work into the editing. I put a lot of work into the pit pushing. I put a lot of work into the little story that I put in some of the videos. I hope you guys enjoyed those. If there's anything that you haven't seen from me that you want to see from me, speak up, say something, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Griefy Boy is out. Yeah, you get it. Yeah, you're gonna get. Oh, hey. Sorry, it's Grief again. Just wanted to tell you guys, if you ever are playing and you just want to give your eyes a break from the craziness of the game, you just want to get yourself a pair of these glasses. Just help your eyes, just help your game, just really step it up. This is a paid advertisement for these glasses.